Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on our launch episode of our brand new podcast, Edify with Eide, where we will be discussing leadership, entrepreneurship, and technology that will not only make your business survive, but thrive during difficult times. We will be streaming a new episode every Thursday morning at 7 a.m. South African time, so you can tune in and listen to it while on your way to work or having that first cup of coffee. So our first 10 episodes will feature women entrepreneurs in our inspirational Women in Business series. And our first guest is not only a wife or mom, but she is also an inspirational, fearless, and resilient e-commerce entrepreneur. Let me introduce you to our first guest in our inspirational Women in Business series, Stacey Zimmer.
Fantastic. Thank you. Blessed. I'm excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
That's great. I'm so glad to hear you. So you are our first official guest in our podcast series about inspirational women in business. So it's fantastic to have you. We have a bit of a history, so we've been talking for quite a while, and I'm very excited to have you on Edify with Eide today. So let's kick this off. Stacey, tell me about your story. Why did you decide to become an entrepreneur? You know, what was the motivation behind that?
So growing up, I wasn't one of those lucky ones with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had to work and sing for my supper. So I had to, get going. I had to be ambitious. I had to be self-driven. I had to be a go-getter. I had to be hungry for better. I had to just be fearless. Ever since a young age, I've been working. And I've been working nonstop. I'm not afraid to work. I've got goals. I've got passions. Ever since little, I've been working on, reaching them, smashing them, achieving them. And as soon as I got a bit older, I'd say about 8 years ago, I was on LinkedIn, inspiring a lot of people. And I inspired myself. And through inspiring others, I realized that I actually have an opportunity to help myself. And being tired of corporate and the constant nag and complain of commission and money and sales and deals, because I have been in sales for 10 years in the corporate realm. And I just grew tired of that. And I wanted to gain control for myself and have my own freedom, have my own control over the money that I make. And just, gain control for myself. So that's how come I ended up being an entrepreneur. And it's been successful since I've started, and I don't plan on stopping. I want to get going. I want more.
And it must have been a really difficult decision for you to make, because becoming an entrepreneur is a really big risk that you take, leaving a corporate environment where you've got stability and, you're kind of forced with discipline and, that routine that you've got and a comfy paycheck and financial security. Kind of what was your biggest motivation to move over from that known to the unknown?
So from corporate, obviously everyone's got the stability. You've got someone else to, take accountability when things go wrong. And, if sales is a struggle, you've got support. So of course, leaving all of that familiarity behind was a struggle. And being an entrepreneur, you kind of don't have anyone to lean on anymore. And it wasn't a huge adjustment for me. There was great amount of fear making the jump from corporate to being an entrepreneur, but I just had to keep reminding myself, focusing on the goal. I wanted freedom. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted a lot of financial wealth. And as some people would say, some corporates can offer that. I didn't have control of how much and what I could do. And that's what the goal was for me. I'm a mother, I'm a wife. I need to, be there for my daughter. I also enjoy doing my nails, doing my hair. So I didn't want to have anybody barking down my back and asking, where am I? What am I doing? I wanted that control and that freedom. And being an entrepreneur, it's tough. Is it hard? Yes. Is it worth it? Absolutely. But I took that leap. I took the step and I don't look back.
For sure. And Stacey, tell me, in this, so you've had this big journey going over from corporate, taking the leap into entrepreneurship, doing your own thing. And a lot of people kind of think that, oh, I'm going to be my own boss and I'm going to have, all these amazing things. And, I can wake up when I want to, I can work 2 hours if I want to. I'm going to have a lot of money. Is that the reality of entrepreneurship?
I laugh because no, it's not. It takes a lot of self-discipline to get up every day, to get up early, get to your desk, whether you're working from a small site somewhere else or in a home office. It takes a lot to get up, get dressed, brush your teeth, have a coffee, and get working. Also, you can't just leave clients hanging. You can't just walk out when you want to. The more responsibility you take on as an entrepreneur, the more you have to do, and the more responsibility you have to take on. So you can't just be that person that just wakes up whenever you want to, leave whenever you want to. I always say, what you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you want to be 2 hours in, you're going to get a 2-hour result. And no, you don't earn a lot of money if you want to in the beginning. For me personally, I was able to cover my expenses and all that right from the moment. So we were fortunate for that. And, January hits and we had a bit of a slump. So you kind of have to expect those moments. January is typically a tough month for everyone. So if you're an entrepreneur, you need to counter for those tough months and think and have a plan on how to combat it, because that was new for me. You think, you're sailing from the end of last year and then January happens. So being an entrepreneur is hard work, and it's really hard, but it's so rewarding. It's really rewarding.
For sure. And tell me, in this journey that you've had so far, what was the biggest obstacle that you encountered and how did you overcome that?
So for me, it was fear. I mean, everyone's got fear. I've got fear of, what if I let my husband down? Because now we are a partnership, I have to pay my part. And what if I let him down? What if I let my daughter down? Because we've got school fees to pay. What if I don't succeed? What if everybody who laughed at me and said I wouldn't succeed gets now the pleasure of that? What if? So I had all of these what ifs, could have, should have, what if, but you just can't focus on that. You need to have a solid plan, and you need to focus on working day to day, having your discipline, and focusing on the end result and why you started. It's so important to know why you started. For me, I started for freedom and financial gain. And for me, that's what wakes me up every day. That's what gets me out of bed, is those two very things. I don't want to have to go back to corporate. I don't want to have to fail and, put my hat in my hand and say, sorry, guys, I tried, but I failed. So it's a constant thing in my mind that I have to just get up, be diligent, be disciplined, and carry on.
And so you definitely experienced, in the sense that, when people talk about you being your biggest enemy, putting that voice of doubt at the back of your head and say, what, I'm actually going to give this a go and see what comes out of it. So for sure, fear is definitely one of the biggest things that entrepreneurs have to overcome, especially at the beginning. And Stacey, you're talking about you and your husband being this amazing partnership. And I know there's this conception in the industry, and especially in entrepreneurship, that women have a disadvantage to men. Would you agree with that statement or not? And why do you think so?
So I don't think there's a disadvantage. I think it's quite common ground. There's no historic times where men are purely breadwinners. They have to be physically strong to carry heavy material and bring home the money. There's none of that anymore. We're living in the fifth industrial revolution, where it's all technical, technology driven. So as long as you as a woman have the basic education, experience and passion, you have a laptop or a smartphone, I think anybody has anybody, any lady or woman has the opportunity to become highly successful, especially in the technology world. I mean, there are kids that are millionaires at the moment. I mean, so disadvantage? I really don't think so. I think we've got a common ground purely based on the fact that technology is around, the things are moving, and businesses are online, and you can definitely make a big success for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's so many free learning resources out there these days that you can access, and you can literally, I mean, I was doing something yesterday and I don't have, the resources to now go and buy a course for Adobe AI. And I just watched a YouTube video and I, learned exactly what I needed to know right then. It literally just cost me, my data at the end of the day. Stacey, tell me quickly, if you had to give entrepreneurs or people thinking about becoming entrepreneurs 3 tips, what would that be?
So I think you need to understand your market. You need to understand who you're selling to and who's going to be buying your product or your service. Also, product knowledge. You need to know what you're selling. You need to know ins and outs, the extents of your product or service. Because the more that you know about what you can offer, the more you can sell it or offer it to your clients or potential buyers. So I think product knowledge is very, very important. And just the last thing is your destination. Where are you going? Do you know where you're going as an entrepreneur? Do you know why you started? Do you know why you got into this? What is your mission? What is your vision? What is your culture? And just revisit those things constantly. Just because as you evolve as a person and your business evolves, you might go off track a bit, but that's okay. But you just need to be able to just revisit those missions and those visions constantly. Just as you mutate and your business does, you just need to keep on going on.
For sure. And then I'm sure you would have bought a bit of Bitcoin 5 years ago.
Yeah, if I could do something 5 years ago, it would have been buy 10 Bitcoin and 10 million masks. In this day and age, yeah.
Especially since Mr. Elon Musk is now rallying behind the Bitcoin. So no, definitely agree with you about that. And then lastly, Stacey, just before we end off, tell us about your e-commerce stores, what you do, what you sell, and where we can find you.
So I've got 2 e-commerce stores at the moment. One is it's Vivi Online. So we cater for pets, babies, weddings, jewelry. We have across the board, or rather a blanket cover as far as an online store is. And then we've got Vivi Fragrance, which caters for more of a rejected fragrance at a much more cost-effective product. So a lot of people want to have a nice product, they brand it. So it's your Dolce & Gabbana, it's your Versace's, it's your Dior's. So a lot of people can't afford it, but they want to smell good. And our products are imported. They come from the US, UK, France, and Dubai. And you can find them on our online store. It's a lot more cost effective, like I've mentioned, because they are rejected fragrances. And yeah, I'm happy to explain more and share more on these little handles on the side here. My contact number and email address is also there. So I'm happy for anyone to reach out to me.
Okay, fantastic. So they can find your stores on Instagram, Facebook, and then on LinkedIn, just your social media pages to kind of see what you're doing and what you're busy with.
Correct.
100%. Yeah. Stacey, thank you so much for being our first official guest on Edify with Eide. I really appreciate it, and it was so much fun. You being our first official guest in the Inspirational Women in Business series, which will be 10 episodes. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. That was good fun. I had a great time. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Once again, I would like to thank you, every single person tuning into our first official episode of Edify with Eide. If you'd like to know more about upcoming episodes, please have a look at our social media on LinkedIn, Facebook, Clubhouse. Our episodes will be broadcasted here on Podbean, and we also have a YouTube channel where we will be uploading this video to. For more information, please visit our website, and remember, make smart choices today to avoid making difficult choices tomorrow. I'll see you in the next episode.